Another Clair Obscur Expedition 33 video. Yeah, I know. There's about 1,000 of these already floating around, but hey, this one is mine. And I have thoughts. A lot of them actually. So, when this game was first shown, it immediately caught my attention. Not because it was loud or over the top, but because it felt different. The genre, the style, the ambition they showed, it was clear. Sandfall Interactive was trying to make something different, or at least a bit different from what we're used to seeing. It had that Persona vibe, but without that Persona art style that we are used to. They were swinging for something bigger, something that stood out, and honestly, that feeling never really left me until the game's release. And well, I guess I was right. Let's get this out of the way first. Yes, it was made by 33 people. 33! Not 300, not 1000, only 33 developers. And yes, they built it in Unreal Engine 5, which generally makes the games looking decently good, but it's always a starter fiesta. Well, it's not this one. This game runs incredibly well, at least on my PC, and the sheer scale of what they pulled off is actually ridiculous. And here's the thing, it wasn't just ambition, they actually delivered. As of now, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is sitting as the highest rated game of the year according to Metacritic. It's up there, not just among this year's games, but historically it's one of the best, according to user ratings. It's the kind of reception that most studios dream about, and very few actually achieve. One of the biggest reasons it works so well is the combat system. When you first look at it, you might think it's a classic turn-based RPG. And in some ways, it is. You pick your moves, you target enemies, and strategize, and try to overcome the challenges that get gradually harder. But what makes it special is how it brings real-time mechanics into the mix. Not in a gimmicky way, but in a way that actually changes how you engage at every fight. Timing your attacks with small real-time prompts can boost your damage. Fair enough, that's easy to understand and easy to pull off. But when enemies attack, you are not just watching animations play out. You dodge, you parry, you react live in real time, and every enemy has its own patterns, its own rhythm, forcing you to actually learn and adapt. Not just rely on the same exact timing every time. It's some of the most engaging combat I've played in the turn-based system, because it keeps you active at all times. There's no zoning out, there's no autopilots, you're always doing something different. It's fun, it's really fun actually. And when you nail a perfect dodge or a parry against a boss that's been bullying you for 20 minutes straight, it's super satisfying. And the challenge? It's consistent, and super linear in a good way. This isn't one of those games where the first few hours are tough, and then it's a cakewalk after you unlock a few skills or a few gear. No, Clair Obscur wants to keep testing you without feeling overwhelming in the long run. At least on the default difficulty, it seems fair. The hardest though, that can be a bit brutal sometimes. So now, talking about the story without spoiling anything is actually tricky. It's one of those games where even describing the basic premise feels like you're revealing too much. I'm not going to spoil anything, don't worry, but here's your warning nonetheless. Here's a short version. Every year, a figure called a paintress writes a number. That number represents an age, and when she writes it, every one of the previous years simply disappears or dies. There's no explanations, there's no mercy, and there's just one number every year. And the number started on 100, and every year goes down one by one, which means it has started 77 years ago. And so, every year, an expedition is launched, made up of people who are of that age, in a desperate attempt to stop her. That's the basic setup to the story, and it's every bit as heavy and intriguing as it sounds. The game does a brilliant job of building tension without slowing down. There's always something happening. Always another layer being revealed. The pacing is honestly one of the best I've seen in an RPG in years. There's almost no fillers, just a story that moves, builds, and hits you harder the deeper you get. And visually, I mean, it's stunning. Every area feels different. The color palettes, the lighting, the atmosphere. It's one of those games where you sometimes just stop moving for a second because you want to take it all in. It's that kind of art direction that doesn't just look good in screenshots. It feels good to walk through in the different levels. That said, on PC, I did notice the sharpness can sometimes be a little too intense. Some textures and edges feel almost artificial. It's not a huge problem, but it's there. And eventually you get used to it. Or, just like me, you can use a simple mod that completely fixes this issue. I'll leave the link in the description. Just bear in mind that all the gameplay you're seeing on this video was recorded before I started using the mod. Outside of that, it's close to flawless. There's no major technical issues, no weird graphical bugs, no it'll be patched later feeling. It feels finished, complete, which in this day and age, As sad as it gets, it deserves its own round of applause. Exploration happens through an overworld map that's simple but charming. You pick your destination, dive into the zone, and move forward. There are side quests here and there, some optional bosses waiting for the best players out there, but the main story, it stays relatively linear. It's focused, and honestly, I think that was the right call. Everything seems to have a purpose, even if only for a few minutes sometimes. And just when you think you've seen everything, they throw in something you would never expect. Like a full section inspired by those only up climbing games that exploded in popularity a while back. It's not a huge part of the game, it's not designed to ruin your day with frustration or break your spirit like those games tend to. It's just, let's call it a clever little tribute, a small side detour that made me smile. A moment where the game shows it doesn't take itself too seriously all the time. And yet, still fits the tone somehow. The reward for completing it isn't anything massive or even super useful, which I actually liked. It's exactly what a side challenge like this should be. Fun, optional extra that doesn't punish you if you skip it or miss it. At the end of the day, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 feels like something rare. It's not just technically impressive, it's not just beautiful, it's not just well designed, it feels like a game made by people who genuinely cared about what they were building. Every system feels polished, every visual choice feels deliberate, every part of the story feels genuine. For me, right now, it's the clear frontrunner for Game of the Year. No question about it. It's the kind of experience that reminds you why you love games in the first place. At least it was for me. Challenging without being unfair. Emotional without being too much melodramatic. Ambitious, but it never loses its focus. Is it perfect? No, it isn't. Of course not. But it's as close as possible, especially when compared to other releases this year. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is a masterpiece. Not because it ticks every box on some checklist, but because it understands what matters. And it nails on it. And if you're still wondering whether it's worth your time, honestly, the fact that you made it this far into another Clair Obscur video probably means it is. Thanks for watching, leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed. And hey, if you survived the painteress another year, maybe I'll see you again in a possible sequel.
Clair obscur, double de nature, tombera et frais. Clair obscur, dans des ronds peints, tu trouveras